Welcome to the morning show on WRCO Radio. We're here to talk about the upcoming Memorial Day, a Memorial Day parade in Richland Center, and the festivities that go along with that, and the recognition to go along with that today. Why we have a long weekend and why we can take our boats and campers out because those who served. And we're here to talk a little bit with Marge Freeman and Marlon Clark from Bauer Gunnell Dalton VFW Post 2267 in Richland Center. Marge, the current commander. Marlon, the current senior vice commander. But I understand, Marlon, that might be changing. Is that true?
There is a rumor to that effect.
Were you elected, or are you chosen, or
nominated?
Nominated
And then approved.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. So. Appreciate it.
And he raised his right hand.
Okay. Shouldn't have done that to scratch his nose. Huh?
It's hard to say no sometimes.
So, Marge, when will the gavel actually be passed then?
Well, that will be after the state convention. The state convention's in Middleton, Wisconsin, I want to say from June 11th through June 15th. And after the state convention, the first meeting in July, I'll probably be handing the gavel over in June at our local VFW meeting, and he officially takes over in July at our VFW local meeting. So then he will have that gavel, and he's in charge, and I just sit in the background.
Can you actually do that, though?
But I will. I do a battle handoff on anything like that, and mentor. I'll turn over the gavel and the briefcase, and anytime that Marlon's got any concerns or whatever, I will work very closely with him. I don't just, give up and drive on.
How many years have you served as commander, Marge?
As commander, this time around will be 8 years straight, and then also 1994 and 1995, so it's a total of 9 years. And, my picture's on the wall. It's the only female up there with dark-colored hair. And I don't plan on having another picture taken.
Okay, that'll be it. All right.
They can just put the years of service on there.
As I mentioned, you're handing it off to somebody younger now, aren't you? Right?
Well, I know how old Marlon is, and the roster says that he's older than I am.
Well, wait a minute. Now, let's not go there.
But I won't say.
Are you excited about the opportunity, Marlon?
Yes, I am. It'll be an honor to serve in that capacity, and I'm looking forward to it. We got we'll make some changes. I'll give you an announcement later this morning, a special announcement. I was coerced by several veterans, and I'll talk about that later.
Okay. We'll ask you a little bit about. Marge has got a puzzled look on her face.
I don't know. Did you run this by me yet?
No.
It's up to the membership to vote on everything, so be careful there.
Wait a minute. Well, Memorial Day on Monday, and I know one of the first things you want to talk about is you want to encourage people to be a part of the parade, Marge.
Absolutely. I got a call I think it was yesterday, from a young individual wanting to know if he could bring his tractor in. I said, absolutely. You can have your tractor in the parade as long as maybe put some flags on it, or a flag banner or something like that. Our patriotic parade for Memorial Day will line up at the old high school location, which is 3rd and Park, which is known as the hospital employee parking lot. That's the large parking lot over on 3rd and Park Street. Lineup starts around 9:15. all the way up to about 10 minutes to 10. The parade will start from there. We'll have the Richland Center High School band and probably another band there. The American Legion Auxiliary, their donkeys are supposed to be there to represent, and for their mascots, that's their mascots. There'll be other patriotic displays showing up. We need people to sign up and be in the parade, and it's only about a 7 to 8 block march from that location up to the cemetery. With that said, every year it seems like our parade's getting a little bit shorter, but it's in honor of those that have passed, who have served, and so forth. Our ceremony will take place at the Richland Center Cemetery starting anytime after 10:30 a.m. With WRCO. Bo Hendricks is the designated Master of Ceremonies. Our guest speaker is Greg Herbst, which is, I think I pronounced his name correctly. He is the Ithaca Schools principal superintendent, and he wholeheartedly a couple of months ago said yes, he would be the guest speaker. And then also we have Ethan Gauld will do the Gettysburg Address, and then Mara Delagrave will do the taps after our recognition, after we honor our veterans with the 3 volleys, excuse me, of firing for the Honor Guard, the Military Honor Guard. But with that said, if the weather is good, we will be doing the parade and going up to the cemetery. And then afterwards, we will do the Women's Relief Corps water service down at Post 13, American Legion Post 13. And unfortunately, if the weather is not good, we will not have a parade, but everything will start at 10 a.m. at the Richland Center High School. Everything has been lined up, and everything should be ready for Memorial Day. So if the weather is good, we'll have a parade and go up to the cemetery. Oh, and the flyover will be approximately 11 a.m. The Buena Vista Flying Club, I contacted them and Arliss Green, and he knew for sure a few days ago that he had 3 that were going to be present, but there may be more. And every year we try to have a flyover. Last year it was really, really nice. So, weather permitting, wind, rain, whatever. So,
You've gone in all kinds of weather, and I think, Marge, over the years, you haven't had a lot of times where you've actually moved it indoors, have you?
No, I think since I've been commander the last 8 years, I can remember 2 times. And one day, one of the Memorial Days, it was that morning we had to make that decision, and luckily we had the high school all lined up and so forth. And far as I can remember, we were just starting the program, and it started pouring outside, and it was good to have that backup for the Richland Center High School gym.
Speaking of the high school, just impressive that you're involving a couple of Richland Center High School seniors, and then the band will be involved in the parade and the program as well.
Yes, and a lot of times we'll have 2 bands present. But anybody who wants to be in the parade, they don't have to pay anything. I do the permit. The permit's all done. They don't have to do anything other than call me or just show up. Just show up. It is a patriotic parade. No advertising for political or anything like that. It is patriotic parade.
I know that you wanted to talk a little bit about the POW-MIA project.
Yes. The Defense Accounting Agency, which repatriates, they travel the world, and they identify remains of those that are missing in action. And so far this year, they have repatriated and located and named 114 individuals. And out of those individuals, I believe I have a note here, yes, a total of 114 repatriated with being named and identified. There have been 79 from World War II, 32 that served Korean War, and 3 Vietnam. And last week, and then also the University of Wisconsin Missing in Action Project, which a lot of people are not aware of, also supports the Defense and Accounting Agency throughout the world. They also help to identify individuals, especially those that were residents of Wisconsin. Last week, we donated $500 to our VFW Post donated $500 to the UW project for the Missing in Action repatriation project. Now, repatriation means they bring the remains back to the United States, to their hometown, and 99% of the time, if the families want, they can have a military honor guard there, and that's what happens, and they are repatriated back and reburied back to their location. Sometimes these individuals were already buried overseas in different locations, and then many times they find remains at a crash site or at sea. I read an article last night, I may have sent that to you, Marlon, as well, where there is a well in Indonesia where they are looking, a actual water well where they're looking for remains that were supposedly identified, and they're going to hopefully retrieve those remains and identify those individuals as well. It's quite a project.
Why don't you talk about, for just a minute, about you went to one of the MIA recovery.
Right. You're talking about Edgerton?
Yes. Why don't you talk about that for a second?
Well, I want to say on March 28th of this year, I received a message from our past commander, Tim Perry, that and his wife is the manager of our local thrift shop. And they found a document. There was an individual that brought it in, and from what I kind of understand, she may have picked this individual that brought the document in, got this document at a rummage sale, and she was turning it over to our local thrift shop. And of course, Trudy Perry and Tim Perry, had a discussion obviously about it, contacted me about this document. Well, this document identified an individual that was killed in action. He was from Edgerton, Wisconsin. His name was Sergeant Wallace Olson. He was not from this area, from all the research I did. Excuse me. He was killed in September of 1918, and the document identified the individual and what unit he served in, and it was signed by General Pershing. And that document, when I did the research, I found out that they had a memorial. I don't know if he's actually buried in Edgerton, Wisconsin, but they do have a memorial stone down there at the Jensen Cemetery. And I contacted the Veterans of Foreign Wars in Edgerton, Wisconsin. They did not know a lot about the individual. They did have a picture of him on the wall, but that's about the only information they knew about. So 2 of us traveled to Edgerton last evening and presented that document to the Edgerton Veterans of Foreign Wars, and they're going to be putting that document up on a wall of honor next to his name. And I thought it was a very interesting concept of how it came to be, getting turned over, an individual getting it at a rummage sale, turning it over to our thrift shop. Our thrift shop personnel, Trudy Perry, realized, she watches for these items, anything that's military related, and then just the full circle of getting it turned into the Edgerton Veterans of Foreign Wars and to honor them. And the right thing to do was take it down there personally rather than mailing it to them. And, the document may not mean a lot to us, but to his family or to that Veterans of Foreign Wars post, I think it means a lot to them.
It's amazing. A thrift shop find, Marlon,
Yes.
that's actually turned into something like that, isn't it?
It's amazing. But it was the right thing to do. And for the family, he may not have any family left in that area. And so there may not be closure for the family, but he's recognized by the post, and he's recognized by the VFW and the community. And so that's what we try to do.
That was turned over to post number 2708 in Edgerton, Wisconsin.
Just about every week, we'll read about somebody being identified, and we've had that recently, Marlon, in the state where they've actually had a service for that individual.
And those ceremonies are really moving. When you see police and fire officials out, and the general public will turn out for these small communities for that repatriation of those remains, that is an amazing event. It gives me goosebumps.
And many times we'll fly the flags at half-mast in honor of that and things like that. But amazing that we're talking about somebody who's been missing 80 years, or in the event of World War I, it would be even longer than that.
Yes. So. And for the UW MIA project to be so involved in this, our hats are off to them.
Yeah, it's amazing that you can find that information, documents
That's
that
right.
exist. I think the government did a pretty good job of documenting a lot of the names, didn't they, through the years?
Let's see, Marge, you went to one, didn't you?
Yes, there was two of them I attended. There was one over near Cuba City a couple years ago, and our 3rd District of Veterans. By the way, our VFW is in 3rd District. We have 15 posts in 3rd District, and our VFW riders led that funeral procession over to the cemetery. And there was another one in Middleton, Wisconsin. Even though the individual, that post was not out of 3rd District, I attended both of them. And it's like Marlon said, it's very moving. And many times there may be only one or two family members, and the family members a lot of times are nieces or nephews or grandchildren or great-grandchildren of the individual that they repatriate. A very, very moving ceremony, but very honorable. And you usually have your branch of service at the state or national level do the military honors, and it's a very solemn. It's hard to explain the ceremony. It's solemn, it's beautiful, it's sad. There's all of those emotions, but yet supportive of the individual that paid the ultimate sacrifice and being returned to their homeland, and it's very moving. Now, out of the ones that they have repatriated or have identified this year so far, 114. I watch those. I check those numbers every week. So far, nobody new from Wisconsin at this time, but. Any rate, they identify not only the individual, but where they live and their hometown and all of that once the families are notified.
Switching gears, Poppy Day is coming up, isn't it?
Buddy Poppy, Poppy Day for the American Legion is coming up. Theirs is called Poppy, and ours is Buddy Poppy, which is in September. And we always do it on the POW MIA Remembrance Day, which I believe is the 3rd Friday in September. So ours is Buddy Poppy, which is a patent name for the veterans of foreign wars. So that will be in September. But again, too, the American Legion is having Poppy Day coming up.
And that will be this Friday.
Yeah,
So
right
it's
into
a little
Memorial
different.
Weekend.
Yeah. It's just a different name, and their poppies are different than ours. So it's all good.
But both of them, recognize and the monies is any money that's raised for those goes to a worthwhile cause.
Our organizations are not for profit, so nobody gets paid. And with that said, all funds raised, whether it's Buddy Poppy Day or regular Poppy Day through the American Legion or any fundraising that the organizations do, nobody gets those funds. They all go for the good of the veteran or unmet needs for veterans and so forth. So all those funds are distributed properly.
And I know you have the collection for the Toma veterans
Yes, we
every
do.
year as well,
You
don't
want
you?
to talk about that or not?
No, go ahead. You're on a roll.
Trying to get
You're on a
Marlon to
roll.
go here.
You're on a roll.
Well, yes. Gee, wow. Well, let me see here. December, we have the second Wednesday in December at the Richland County Bank. We do the fundraiser for our local veterans at our local homes, which is Schmidt Woodland Hills, Pine Valley, Harvest Guest, and our house. We go out and purchase items that they request out of that fundraiser, and then any items left that our veterans do not need, whether or not we get monetary funds or donations, which are all have to be new, clothing or other items, then they go to Toma. So that is always the second Wednesday in December. That's an upcoming event, and Marlon will probably have a radio program on that. But with that said, and the reason why it's the second Wednesday in December is because the following week everything is distributed to our local veterans at the 4 local homes, in addition to the Toma VA before Christmas. Now, all the items, if people donate items, they have to be brand new. They cannot be used like they were in the past before COVID. And, of course, we do take monetary donations, and we always go out and purchase what's needed for our local veterans, and then anything else gets turned over to the Toma VA along with monetary funds. And it's normally $1,500 up to $2,000 that gets donated up to the Toma VA, along with all the in-kind items.
Recently, we played back some of the speeches from Patriots Pen and Voice of Democracy.
Yeah.
Pretty good turnout this year, wasn't it?
Real good. And Marlon wants to talk about that one, because when I came in, I mean, I have the information, but the bottom line is he mentioned it earlier, so he can go for it.
All right, Marlon.
No, you're on a roll. What we wanted to do, though, I just asked Marge that we need to recognize these students.
Right.
Because they put the time and they put the effort into it, and they presented our post, they presented district, they presented state, and then luckily we had one young man a couple years ago that went on to national and won at national. And so we want to recognize those students and their families, and also the teachers that support them. So
they make a good effort, that's for sure. And
yes.
It's nice that teachers encourage that and get that done on the deadline and everything like that too.
Now the theme for this year, and Marge said this is the first time that she can remember it, that the theme for both Patriots Pen and the Voice of Democracy is going to be the same theme. And the theme is, how are you showing patriotism and support for our country? That's the theme. Now, Patriots Pen, that's for grades 6 through 8. Voice of Democracy, that's for grades 9 through 12. And there's information on the VFW website where they can go out and look up that information. But we just encourage any student that thinks they would like to present a speech or be involved.
It's been a great project, not only for the public school kids, but you've had some homeschool kids get involved in it as well.
In fact, Sam Edel, I'll mention his name, he went on to state this year. He was homeschooled for many, many years. He had first started entering in Patriots Pen a few years ago before he got into high school. And he also went on to national, I believe it was 2 years ago, and he was one of the original homeschool students. So it's not only in a Christian school or a public school, but also homeschool. And with the theme this year, as Marlon had mentioned, and it is due to our local posts on October 31st. Every year it's October 31st to our local posts. The Patriots Pen is a written essay. All the guidelines are on VFW.org on the amount of words they can have in the essay, how long it can be, and so forth, spelling. And they must have the essay name at the beginning. That is part of the requirement. Now, for the Voice of Democracy, it's not only the written essay, but also the audio essay. And again, the audio essay has to be the same as their written essay. But all the information is on VFW.org with the requirements and so forth. And our teachers at Kickapoo School, our Christian school, Ithaca has addressed it in the past, St. Mary's. We need more schools involved because the competition, when they become first, if they are a first, second, and third place winner, it's not only the certificate recognition, but we have money to give away. Yep. So we don't really advertise the money, but the funds are available, and it's well worth their effort.
Can teachers be honored as well?
Yes, they will. Yes, they can. And I can mention it. Teacher of the Year awards. We are still waiting. I have never received a Teacher of the Year recommendation or award, meaning that we have not had a teacher get nominated, and a teacher can nominate somebody else, or somebody could nominate a teacher at a local school. They do not have to be involved in Patriots Pen or Voice of Democracy. It's whatever they're involved in their schools. The same for Scout of the Year. We're looking for scouts to enter, and all of that information is on VFW.org. I keep waiting every year. I need a scout. I need a teacher of the year so we can, recognize them. And it is a great recognition, and it's just hard to come by. I think people are too shy to do this.
But if somebody's listening and there's a teacher that maybe somebody especially that encouraged their kids to enter Voice of Democracy or Patriots Pen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be a good thing.
Yeah. Marge and I were just talking about this out in the hallway that we this is not even at a post level. This also goes up to district level. So they recognize Teacher of the Year. And
all the way to state and national.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we really want to try to push that this year and put an emphasis on it because we know that there's some outstanding teachers in our communities.
Big time.
But we got to get them recognized.
Yeah, good point.
So that's going to be our challenge.
It's a little bit more user-friendly than it used to be because I remember back in the day, they would have to make an appointment here at the radio station to record. Now, I believe they can record at their own leisure.
Yes,
can't they?
and a lot of, like for Kickapoo School, for the Voice of Democracy, a lot of the students enter that. They do their recording there, and if they do their recording, there can't be any background noise or anything like that. But for the Voice of Democracy, they can do their recording usually at the school, and if they don't have that opportunity, I guess I would encourage them to search out other opportunities to do their recordings for the Voice of Democracy. Patriots Pen, they do not have to do a recording. It's just a written essay, and just follow all the guidelines, the requirements on the entries and so forth.
We have W Post 2267, our guests on the morning show today. We'll have more in a moment. We're talking to members of Bauer, Gunnell, Dalton, VFW Post 2267. Marge Freeman, Marlon Clark are here. Marlon, the current Senior Vice Commander, and will be promoted a little bit later on this summer officially as the gavel passes. Let's ask you a little history, Marlon, if we could. How did Bauer, Gunnell, Dalton Post 2267 begin?
Yeah, thank you, Phil. Bauer, Gunnell Post 2267 was first authorized to organize the charter back on December 19th of 1931. There were 15 veterans that participated in that initial charter. Mr. Bauer, William A. Bauer, served in the Spanish-American War in 1898. And of course, everyone knows that was the war between the United States and Spain, mainly fought over Cuba and the Philippines. And it lasted from April to August of 1898. And he was born here in the county in 1879, and he died in the Philippines in 1900 at the age of 21. And William Bauer is buried at the Lone Rock Cemetery in Buena Vista Township. So he's one of our founding members. Our second founding member was Carl Thomas Gunnell. He was born April 30th, 1892. He served in World War I as a corporal. He was a machine gun battery in the American Expeditionary Forces. That's what they were called at that time. He was killed in France in July of 1918 at the age of 26. And he's buried. His remains are in the Richland Center Cemetery. So we have William A. Bauer and Carl Thomas Gunnell. Then, later, in April of 1945, the post was reorganized reorganized and had a second charter and added Staff Sergeant Malcolm Clay Dalton. He was killed in action August 1st, 1943, in a town in Romania. He was born in Richland County here, and he's buried at the Fort McPherson National Cemetery, and that's in Lincoln County, Nebraska. And I've been past that cemetery, and it's way out in the far western part of Nebraska. Beautiful flat area, but again, he was killed in World War II, excuse me. So his name was added to our charter. So now it's Bauer, Gunnell, Dalton, post 2267.
Pretty special people. Any idea why they were chosen? Because I'm sure there were a lot of people at the time that they could have named the post for, right?
Well, I don't know the exact history, and this is only kind of guessing that the membership, well, obviously the membership would have put in for their names for Bauer Gunnell when they organized back in 1931 for the post name. So to recognize them, and the post membership would have voted on it, and then that request would go to the district, on to state, it would get approved, and then on to national to get recognized, and the same for the second reorganization or the second charter request also. So that isn't something that would be nominated by anybody above other than starting out at the membership level at that time, Bauer, Gunnell, Dalton, and again is to recognizing those that were served and killed in action. And they would not have, I'm guessing they would not have their names on there unless they were killed in action, more than likely. Now, if that happens in the future, it would be again up to the membership if they wanted to add another name to the charter, and then the charter would have to be redone a third time. I don't foresee that happening, but I'm not here forever, and wars will always happen. So we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but again, Bauer, Gunnell, Dalton to recognize the three that were killed in action.
You can always use more members, Marge.
Absolutely, we can use more members. We have 104. We have enough to show up for our meetings, a quorum. We average usually between 12 and sometimes 20 or 22 that show up for our meetings. We are at 98.01%. I've got two individuals that need to pay their dues before our state convention. I need their dues paid by or before June 10th. And the individuals have been contacted, so hopefully they get them turned over to show 100%. And membership is always an issue, no matter what organization you're in. You could be in Lions, you could be in the VFW, the American Legion, the 48. Membership is important because membership is not about paying your dues. It's about keeping you informed about what's going on in the organization all the way up to the national level. And also fighting for the individuals, whether it's, like I said, whether it's a veterans organization or any organization, it's making changes and supporting those individuals, and it's not just about paying your dues. There's a lot of things that happen, and we participate in a lot of items, and it's very important to get members to be in organizations and support them.
And maybe some younger members, and I know that...
and it's harder to get those younger members.
Well, right.
Those younger members have families, and they're involved in school activities or church activities or band or, 4-H or whatever. And sometimes we have time commitments, and it's hard to get those younger members, but we still need them. And I don't know if I said this before, but when Bauer Gunnell Post was first formed, there were 15 members in that organization. And like Marge said, they would have probably sat down and voted on who they wanted to have as their namesake. And if these were living veterans, which they would have been, they would have probably then picked the people, who had died in conflict. Mm-hmm. And so that would probably been a very easy choice.
Another organization that is kind of an offshoot is the writers. You've got a writers group that's connected with VFW March.
Well, I thought maybe you would, but our VFW Writers Group, one of our members, in fact, when we mention membership, membership is, you don't necessarily have to show up at the meetings. Just become a member, no matter what organization you're going to join. Now, I'm looking at VFW Post 2267. If you can't be at the meetings, that's okay. Become a member, because member strength is important. But VFW Writers Group, one of our members, started up, I want to say, around 2018, and did a wonderful job at organizing, and also was the president of the VFW Writers Group for the district, Dominic Anderson. I'm going to throw his name out there, even though you don't want me to say that. But yes, he started the VFW Writers Group and went all the way up to president of at district level. He's going to turn over those reins. In fact, he just turned over the reins here at our last meeting. VFW Writers Group, you can have a motorcycle. You could probably have a moped. You could also have a custom car. We've got one or two members that also have custom cars. They don't ride motorcycle, but they can become a member of the VFW Writers Group. And we do, the individuals, they do go to different locations and raise funds, or they go out and ride just for fun.
They are members of parades from time to time.
Absolutely. And there'll probably be a couple of them in our parade on Memorial Day as well. And they'll also be, I'm sure, in the July 4th parade at Lone Rock.
Yes.
So it's good to get that recognition.
The years go by pretty fast. I know we'll be talking about some other events coming up. Marlon, down the road here, I know you have the Wreaths for Across America campaign and things like that are going on. You're preparing for those. Probably you should take over the new post.
We'll have that. That is one of the things. Yes, Wreaths Across America and Saturday, and I think it's usually the second Saturday in December. We've always gone to Keysville. But yes, again, it's to honor those veterans. And this is our 9th year?
It'll be our 9th year in December. And I want to say there's 46 veterans that are buried at Keysville. And that is coordinated with Al Lins, who helps work on the Wreaths Across America and make sure the wreaths are there. And we do the ceremony, and then also we do the Military Honor Guard as well, and play taps for those individuals.
And then also, I know there was an effort the last couple of years to honor veterans, like with unmarked graves and things like that. Is that still a campaign that's going on?
We don't necessarily do that here. That's done more at the Arlington National Cemetery. It's not necessarily that we can't or won't do it. We just haven't done that, at least from what I remember. Now, it may have been done many years ago by our VFW Post. Our VFW Post was the originators of our Military Honor Guard. And we, over the years, due to attrition and so forth, we had to allow other military members. By the way, the Military Honor Guard, you have to be in one of the organizations, whether it's a VFW, American Legion, or 40 and 8, or Chapter 7 Vietnam veterans. You have to be somebody that served in the military with an honorable discharge. And with that said, we now have American Legion members in our Honor Guard, 40 and 8 members, Chapter 7 Vietnam veterans, and so forth. And a lot of people are in 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 organizations.
You are, aren't you?
I am. I'm quadruple. I think it's called quadruple, but I'm not sure. VFW, the Legion, the 40 and 8, Chapter 7, and Women's Relief Corps, and did I say 40 and 8? Yeah, there's 5 of them anyway.
Well, thanks for all you do. The parade coming up on Monday. We hope a lot of people will come out for the parade that day, and the reason why we have an extra day this weekend. Proper parade etiquette. And that's another thing that we haven't talked about for a while, Marge.
Parade etiquette, if you want to help with Lead of the Colors. If you had served and you're a military veteran or still serving, be a part of the Leading with the Colors. If you have anything patriotic you can wear, whether it's an organization cap or a shirt or whatever, would be good. A lot of times Dan Foley will march us up to the cemetery. I'm hoping he's available again this year because everybody can really march really correctly when Dan is leading us in marching and making sure we're on the proper left and right foot. But he does a wonderful, wonderful job, and his voice carries through with everybody. But I guess that's the biggest, is just be there for the colors and leading up there, and wear something that maybe reflects military. If you can fit in your military uniform, wear that. That would be wonderful. And we also will have the troop carrier available for those who cannot march. I talked to Larry Sobronic, and he said the troop carrier will be there for those that cannot march.
Okay, that's good to know. Again, it steps off at 10 Monday morning at Park and 3rd, proceeds down Church Street to Richland Center Cemetery, a route of about 7 blocks.
Yeah.
Marlon, did you have a major announcement you were going to make before we close the morning show here today?
Well, I was coerced, or maybe threatened might have been a better word, as the new incoming commander, that I had to do something here. So I have talked to Amy at the Phoenix Bowling Center, and our July meeting, which is the second Tuesday of the month, will be at the bowling alley.
No, it's not. July 20th is down at the White House.
No. This is our VFW Post 2267 regular meeting. Will be held at the Phoenix Center.
Oh.
This is info that Marge doesn't know.
Okay,
No.
Okay.
And
I thought he was talking about something else.
and your new commander will be buying pizza and beer, soda or coffee. We will meet at 6:30 for the pizza and the beer, and our regular meeting will start at 7. And I just challenge any VFW member that would like to have pizza and beer to stop down. It's on me.
Yes, because our VFW can't pay for that. Remember, there's no monies. No, it's all on you there, upcoming commander.
Well, we hope a lot of people will take you up on
He
that.
almost gave me a heart attack because I thought he was talking about something else.
But along that same line, we are going to sponsor our local Post 2267 is going to sponsor on July 20th, Sunday, the 3rd District meeting here. And again, like Mark said, there's 15 posts in the 3rd District, and they will be coming here to
The White House.
the White House.
Yeah.
That meeting will start at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it usually lasts about an hour and a half, 2 hours. But we're hoping for a good turnout also for that one from the other posts in our district.
That's a big deal, representing
It
Richland
is.
Center and people
It
coming
is.
here. So.
It is. We've had it. We've had our 3rd District meeting here twice now, and we always have a good good turnout. So, but at the Phoenix Center for our VFW meeting in July, do you have the day available for that?
Yes.
What day is it?
The
July what? It's the second Tuesday.
Second
I know
Tuesday.
that.
Put it in the book.
second Tuesday.
It's always, our VFW meetings are always the second Tuesday of the month.
Second Tuesday, July 8th.
All right.
Okay, so that's a change. We will not be at the American Legion.
We will not be at the American Legion building on that day.
All right.
Because I was threatened.
Not by me.
Coerced, or
Not
whatever
by
you
me.
want to say.
We'll let you guys continue this conversation. It's the morning show from WRCO. Marge Freeman and Marlon Clark from Post 2267. It's been a pleasure having you guys in the studio today.
Thank you so much, Will.
You bet.
We